Wizard101 test realm just got a huge update today. All of the gear has been updated to level 170, and we're going to look at all of it right now in today's video. Now, in case you guys didn't know, there's actually a bug in the game the first couple of days of test realm, where the 170 gear was displayed as the 160 Aeon gear from Novus, but that is fixed, and that is why I'm making this video. So I'm really excited to do that. If you guys enjoy this video at all or are new, feel free to like and leave a sub. I do post every day, if not every other day, and I'm bringing you guys Wallaru content every single day, so I'd really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's get right into this video, y'all. Oh boy, yep, here it is. Oh god, I'm so excited. Alright, let me put on the full gear set for y'all real quick. Alright, everybody, so I have the new gear set on for all 170 right now. So without further ado, let's get right into things and compare the new Fierce hat to the Aeon hat. So first thing you're going to see, at least on the hat here, you're going to get about 100 health, a little more towards 90. The same pip chance, a little bit more block, the same resist, the same accuracy. You actually get one Pierce buff, which is pretty cool, I would say. And you actually get 20 more critical to hit 210 critical. So I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, you have the exact same sockets in terms of like shield, double sword, and you get about a 2 damage buff at least on Storm. I think the most important part about this hat though is the fact that you get a galvanic item card. This is huge, bro. Like, I think every school probably gets it, I would have to assume. So just having an item card aura is extremely powerful and important in PvP, for example. Next up, we have the robe, the Fierce robe. This is probably the worst one out of the entire Storm set, I would say. So you get literally 10 health, the exact same pips, 4 block rating, the same resist, accuracy, and the only thing you really get is 1 pierce with about 22 more critical and the same damage actually, which is a little bit odd. I'm not sure why this damage is the same as the Novus one. Not really sure, but this is definitely the worst piece, at least for Storm. Would not recommend getting this at all. It's horrible. Was hardly updated. Then we have the boots, obviously. So comparing these to the Aeon boots, you get about 30 more health, 4 more block, the same pips, the same pierce, and obviously accuracy. With again, about a 20 buff, 2 critical. So it's looking like at least Storm universally is getting about a 60 crit buff with this entire gear set, and you get 1 more damage with obviously the same pin sockets. Now, my favorite part about this entire gear set here, guys, is the fact that the item cards are very complementary towards PvE and even PvP indirectly. So for example, right, the boots give me basically a potent trap, storm trap item card, which is really powerful, and I get a item card blade from my robe and an item card galvanic from my robe, or sorry, my hat. So really cool stuff here, very intuitive for both PvP and PvE players. Obviously the wand here, again, you're looking at about a 4% critical buff, and you're looking at roughly about like a 23% crit buff here. So that is pretty cool, I will say, and it looks like you only get 1 damage compared to Novus, but you do get 20% P-serve and 4 accuracy, and obviously really good of an upgrade for your item cards right here on the wand, guys. The only bad part about this wand is simply the fact that it is a tier socket over like a square, as we're traditionally used to. So the tier socket here is just really bad and kind of holds it back, I would say. If you're wondering why the tier sockets are bad and why these were changed, you can check out my jewel audit video from yesterday, I believe, on the channel. Alright, so the Athame, this Athame was changed, I think. I think yesterday it had 1 more pip and less damage, but now they took that away. So comparing this to Novus, we get again about 10 health, the same pips, 3 block rating, and it looks like you actually get a 2% damage buff. That's 3%. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. My bad, y'all. And obviously, you give up the square socket and the triangle socket right here. So, I mean, I think this is a pretty cool change. Again, At least right here, we're seeing Storm get a bit more of a damage buff, which I think is cool. The amulets, pretty bad, I would say, again, for Storm, unfortunately, but this hasn't really changed anything. It's pretty much about the same as the last realm, test realm build, I would say. Not very good, unfortunately. The ring, we're looking at about a 60 health buff, which again is pretty solid. The same pips. Universal damage, again, very solid. 20 crit buff, so every piece of Storm gear is getting about a 20 crit buff, which I think is really cool as a critical school. And you're looking at about a 1 damage buff here, with actually the exact same sockets we see on. Now, if we're going to compare the Fierce deck to the Aeon deck, there's a couple different things. Obviously, the tier socket is different. The item card is actually good on the Fierce deck as well. You're looking at about a 3% Arch Mastery buff. Actually, like a 26% critical buff. So Storm's getting a very big buff to their critical stat with this update at 170, y'all. And again, about a 4% crit block buff and a 20 health difference right here. The limits and copies are still the same as they were in Novus and stuff like that. So it's a little, you know, little detail just to pay attention to right now for those PvP players. So what do I think about these 170 gear changes? Well, I think they're pretty cool. I was honestly expecting a bit more out of Storm, at least personally. If we take a look at the Storm robe and compare that to the Myth robe, again, we see obviously the one on the right, the Myth robe, is just simply way better, like objectively better than anything Storm has, even though Storm is a damage school and Myth isn't, according to the Rochambeau laws of the game. So unfortunately, we are still looking at a big stat issue and a big stat problem, but you know, hopefully we can see how this stuff plays out, you know, in PvP, in PvE, and stuff like that. In general, I would give this gear upgrade probably like a solid 7 out of 10. It's not bad. I was expecting more. I'd say my favorite parts of it is probably the item cards on the gear for PvE players, and probably the wands. I think the wands got the most significant of a buff for everybody generally. But yeah, what do you guys think about the the Wallaru gear down there in the comments below, guys? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's kind of underwhelming? Do you think it should have got like a bigger stat buff? Let me know down there in the comments below. I'll have a new build coming out for you guys pretty soon here for Storm, talking about the 280% damage setup. So again, be sure to sub if you haven't already, have those noties on, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching this far, and as always, take care, y'all.